How's Aaliyah's process coming along? I see she's officially doubtful. Any update at this point?
Same as yesterday. She's out. Maisha's in.
Gotcha.
Don't want to mess around with the back, basically. She's doing okay, feeling a little better each day, but we get a few days after today, so.
How much are you guys kind of having her do to be able to kind of loosen that up, or is it being super cautious and not having her doing very much at all?
Without saying too much, I think she is loosening up okay, but we haven't done any contact. We haven't, she did a little bit of shooting. So I think we're doing okay, but just not to play today.
Things clicked so well yesterday. How do you kind of keep that high level of energy, execution, all of that coming in back-to-back, knowing that they're going to now make their adjustments?
Yeah, yesterday's home runs don't win today's games.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorites, and it's going to be. We don't know how today's game is going to be. We don't control what Dallas adjusts and what they change in terms of how they approach the game, but we got to approach it just like we came into the game yesterday. I think we're going to have to play better defensively than we did yesterday, but I love the way the ball moved. I thought we were really pushed pace well and tried to make them make decisions defensively with tempo. So some things we got to carry over, but it won't be the exact same game. So I don't know if we got tested physically in the paint the way that they're capable of. So mentally, that's still top of the scouting report for me, is rebounding the ball, taking care of the paint.
And one last one. After looking at the tape, what did you most like about what Emily brought to the floor last night?
Honestly, I still like a lot of the stuff she's been doing, making energy plays on the boards, making good decisions with the ball, and then the ball found her and she let it fly. And I think just the aggressiveness shooting the ball. She loves her pump fake and drive. But sometimes the best way to set up that pump fake is just to catch it and shoot it. And so she made some early, and I thought that set up everything else. But we've been kind of beating the drum for a while. She's been doing the work, and she's been locked into what we're trying to do defensively. She's making hustle plays on the glass. She's very unselfish. Yesterday she scored.
Thank you.
Teed me up perfectly. With Emily, I was talking to her pregame yesterday, and she was saying how she felt like she didn't box out properly all the time when she got to the W. It feels like she's been doing that a lot better lately for you guys. Have you noticed a difference in the way she's, approaching, rebounding, particularly, I guess, on the defensive glass?
I'd have to go back and watch Louisville tape or something, to see how she's boxing out then. She's always had length, so I'm assuming she probably relied on that a fair amount.
She said, yeah.
It's good. It's a tricky thing in our league that you have to, especially when you're a little undersized like she is height-wise, that you've got to go find people's bodies and put your shoulder into them and your forearm into them, but then you got to get your arms free to rebound. It's really easy to do one or the other, but it's hard to do both. So I think blocking out is a habit that everybody talks about and lectures about. Every coach is yelling at their team to block out, but it's really a player just developing that habit when the shot goes up to find a body and then go pursue.
And on the offensive glass, you guys have talked a lot about how good she is on that. And what makes her such a good offensive rebounder?
I think she just anticipates. She sees teammates getting ready to shoot, and she kind of knows. She might not overpower somebody, like bulldoze somebody that's bigger than her, so she gets in and then uses her length and agility to track down some of the long ones that bounce out around the free throw line. And then if teams end up switching and stuff, she's capable of getting one over a guard, same way Maisha has a few times this year.
Just one more for you on Steph. She's on pace to absolutely obliterate her career high in threes made in a season, or threes taken in a season too. But I know that when she was first with you guys in Washington, she didn't take a whole lot of threes. So, what did you see from her back then, and kind of as she, moved on in her career, kind of developing that skill to the point where she's now taking 4 a game and shooting 44%?
She always had the ability, at least by the time she got to the league. She's very unselfish-minded offensively, and is always kind of thinking pass when the ball gets back to her. All we've done is just tell her to shoot more. I mean, she just doesn't need a lot of time. She gets it off pretty quick. She's going to get opportunities, so I'd love to say we had some big grand plan, just tell her to shoot the ball.
Eric, I know you've talked a lot about Julie and how she was able to just kind of come in and use her experience to kind of help her. But what can you say maybe about her chemistry that she's been able to develop with some of the bigs, especially the bigs that roll to the basket so quickly? I mean, we knew she had it with Maisha, we're seeing it with Aaliyah, and we're seeing it kind of other forms of people who would like to cut. Like, what is it about the chemistry that she's been able to put together with these players in a relatively short period of time with not many practices?
You might call it chemistry. You might just say she's a good passer. She's a good passer. She sees how, as a point guard, there's certain. Is that somebody at the door? Or what we got going on back there? There's a few passes you need to be able to make. You got to be able to hit the roll in the pocket. Got to be able to hit the weak side corner if they help, and you got to be able to throw it back to somebody behind you or your big popping back. And she's got the ability to make all those passes. And I think it'd be very easy as a big to know that, hey, if I roll hard, she's gonna look for me, or if I get in the pocket, she's gonna look for me. So chemistry, I think, is just players figuring out their timing with her and which one she likes to throw and when. But the first thing is she just likes to pass, and she will try some outrageous passes, and try to give her a little bit of leeway on those. But it's easy when somebody's unselfish and can make all those passes.
Typically see one of those per game.
Yeah, maybe one.
For clarification on Aaliyah, it appears to be short-term though, right? Because it does put you guys at 9 for this game. So that's one I'm asking.
I very much hope it's short-term.
Okay.
Yeah. Not much else. Yep.
Sorry, you alluded to it earlier, but can you just speak specifically two things? One, the challenges of playing a team in same team in 24 hours during the regular season, and two, did you all have any input? I know the schedule's condensed, so it's kind of crazy. I know LA and New York did the same thing with the day off though. But did you all have any input, or did the league consult you all and say, hey, we're thinking about doing this weekend, are you okay with it, or anything like that?
Challenges to doing it. Both teams, I don't know if it's any better for one team or the other. If you lose the game, you feel like, all right, we get to turn around and get a shot at getting some things right. If you win a game, you feel like, all right, we got a chance to get 2 in a row. So we're in the boat that we won yesterday, and the challenge is, you're going to get a team that's got some really good players and a lot of pride is going to turn around and give you a great effort, and they're probably going to bring it at us, and we got to be ready for it. So that's the biggest challenge. Schedule-wise, no input into opponents or the dates or anything like that. We submit arena dates at the start of the year. They've started doing this, call them like the baseball series, like the 2 games with the same team, just to cut down on travel. I think we had one in Seattle last year. Dallas to DC is kind of a sneaky long flight, so it saves them a flight at some other point in the year. I don't really feel strongly either way about them, but if it cuts down the travel a little bit, then great.
What do you like most about the defense in that third quarter?
That it was a lot better than the first 2 quarters. That we just dug in. I thought we worked harder. I thought we got into the ball. We helped each other. We got our hands active without fouling as much. We did a better job on the glass. I'll take it. It's on me. We weren't ready to go at the start of the game defensively or on the boards. Coaches knew I was like a little caged animal this morning because you could see coming what was coming. You could see a team that got blown out yesterday, that's got pride and great players, is going to come back a certain way. I told the team after the game, it's never not going to be hard. Whether you're the best team in the league or you're on a winning streak, whatever, it's always going to be hard. and we had to have a little bit more maturity about our approach. But to our credit, we played the way we wanted to play in the second half. Probably started before halftime, to be honest, but second half for sure.
You know, as a season high 27 assists, how many players? Everybody scoring, everybody contributing. What is allowing them to play as cohesive as an entire unit, particularly when you've got people leaving the lineup and people playing more minutes than they had previously, but they look like a group that has been, working together for, all season long.
We have high character people. I think that's the biggest thing. High character people that care about their teammates. I think our unselfishness on the court is a reflection of that. It's a real testament to the people that haven't played a lot. Dee, Emily, even Jade a little bit. That it's a credit to strength and conditioning coach and training staff and everybody that kept that group ready mentally as much as physically. That when the opportunity comes, you got to be ready to take it. And so, I'm proud of everybody up and down the roster. It was a tough situation. Both teams are banged up. Got to acknowledge Dallas is banged up and missing people. We've been in that boat. But you needed people to step up over the course of 2 days, and everybody contributed.
One last one for me. I don't know if it's a mental switch, but does it play a little part when you don't have some of the folks that are more ball dominant, where you kind of feel like, okay, we have to share the ball, we have to get everybody involved, and that kind of forces that a little bit more, or is that just something that I'm making up in my own head?
Probably yes, and it's how we have to play anyway. I think you saw it when Slim came back. She fit right into that. When we had her for that, that brief moment in the sun where we had Slim back. But it's how we have to play it. We've got shooters off the ball. We don't have a lot of ball dominant ISO players. We need the punch when we have Slim and Kira back. What they bring is different a little bit than the rest of the group, but it's got to fit into the group. And so I think we found the right balance, and it's opening up some driving lanes and stuff for some people that wouldn't be there if you were just playing ISO ball. Like as the ball moves and teams make mistakes, then you have opportunities to attack.
That turnaround, in the third quarter and even starting a little before that, how encouraging is that for you, given, that this team has struggled at times with third quarters and fourth quarters? And seeing it, the consistency yesterday too late in the game to close that one out.
That was definitely encouraging. I think it was probably the first time I've gone into halftime actually mad at how we had played. I was pretty mad in a couple of the early huddles because I didn't think we played with enough force early in the game, and so I was glad to turn around more for that regard than necessarily previous games in the season. I thought we just had the game in front of us today. We didn't start well, and we adjusted and we were able to do the things we wanted to do.
And another strong game from Emily, shooting from the three especially. What do you hope she takes from these two performances this weekend and carries forward?
Just confidence. I think confidence in her shooting. She's a good shooter. There's things that she needs to get better at too. Like you watched the two games and she helped us win both, but she can improve and she knows that. So let's take it for what it is. She's a player that's, in a part of her career that this should be a major growth portion of her career. So she just got to stay on that mindset.
And then you guys won the paint points again today. What do you think of the post defense, the paint defense?
Good. We're connected and on a string and keeping the ball out the paint. That's when we're at our best defensively. It's how we have to play. Still, some of the fouling, I think we just got to get a little bit smarter. But you hold them over the course of the 2 days, under 30 points in the paint both games. That's tough to do.
And Carly finger, okay?
Just got the crap knocked out of it. It hurts like hell.
Thanks.
So, yep.
Eric, how much was offensive rebounding something that you were trying to focus on in the early moments? They had, I think, 7 offensive rebounds in the first half, in the first quarter, and then ended the third game.
You wouldn't have thought we were focusing on it, but we were focusing on it. That's all we showed at halftime was the rebounding. Usually we show some tactical stuff, and all we showed was their offensive boards and us watching from the perimeter. So we focused better in the second half.
Is it just a matter of focus, or were there other
effort
things?
and focus?
And Steph, she's had 3 really great games in a row now for you guys, and it's not just necessarily what she's doing from behind the arc, but also finding other ways to score too. What can you say about her in these last 3 games specifically, and how she's been able to add to her game?
She's taking the challenge, man. She's we've asked a lot of minutes against a lot of physical players, and then also to have legs to make shots at the other end is not easy. I think she showed some real, leadership these last couple weeks of, just digging in and doing what it takes against players like that. I think she gets 18 boards over the course of the 2 games, yesterday and today. Plays good defense on McCowan and Kalani Brown, and we needed her to hit shots to win these 2 games, and she did both.
Steph, I want to start with you real quick. 27 assists, I think, was a season high. Just the way you guys have been playing as a team, especially these last 2 nights, really cohesive as a whole group. And I'm curious, what allows y'all to do that even with folks being out of the lineup, new people playing bigger minutes, but you guys are playing so cohesive as a group, and I'm curious what's allowing y'all to do that at this point?
I think just paying attention to details and like the little things, because I think we all know how to play basketball. It's just a matter of like, can we get open? Can we make that hard cut? Can we set a really good screen to get our teammate open? And I think in the first half tonight, you saw like we weren't doing as good of a job of that, and we kind of turned it around, and the second half showed that way better. And in yesterday's game, we just do the little details, and we were able to knock down shots.
And, second game in a row. This is my question. You've talked about, you just stay ready. So then, when you get in this moment, you can just go. But I'm curious, there's no hesitation, which has kind of stood out to me the last couple of games. And I'm curious, even when you have a bigger role or whoever, it might, ball swings your way, you might take a second to kind of gather, figure out your thoughts, but it seems like you're ready to go right there. And how are you able to do that, especially kind of when you're thrown into the mix so abruptly?
Yeah, I think it took some time in general from the beginning of the season to now, just to get comfortable with the new team, getting back in the league, etc. And at this point, when team needs you to play a little more minutes and stuff like that, when you go hard in practice, etc., it's kind of just what happens when you show up ready. I'm just trying to stay confident at the end of the day when I'm up with the ball and play team basketball and just keep winning.
And one more for you, Steph. A little bit about yourself. Eric was just kind of in here talking about the load that he's asked you to carry, leadership, doing so many other different things, and when you're asked to do that and you're kind of thrown, when you're in that situation, how have you approached it? Because you're really taking advantage, particularly these last 3 games.
I'm just trying to stay consistent with whatever I'm doing. I think it is a lot, but it's nothing I haven't seen before. I think the leadership part is probably the hardest, is making sure even in games I probably complain too much to the refs or talk too much to the refs, and I have to, allow myself to take a step back and be like, okay, if I'm doing that, then someone else is going to be doing that, and just realizing that my words, my actions affect other people on the team. So, and I know sometimes I get a little carried away with that. So I think just focusing on that and focusing on the game and being in the moment with my teammates is what I'm trying to kind of emphasize the most with myself.
Thank you.
Emily, for you, we talked before yesterday's game about how you wanted to get that 3-ball going, so mission accomplished. How's the shot feeling right now?
It feels good. I mean, there's gonna be days where it doesn't follow the same way, but you just gotta shoot when you're open, and when you're not, make the right read. And right now it's going in, so that's good. I'm happy.
Are you seeing defenses start to play you a little bit differently as they start to fall?
Honestly, even when I really hadn't been hitting them, I think they bite at the pump fake. So I think it's kind of been the same, but they're just falling right now.
Steph, for you, can you talk about just the post defense in general across the board? You and the rest of your teammates kind of containing the size of Dallas today.
Yeah, we made them go small ball, which I think is a testament to us and how well we did against their bigs. And it wasn't even just me. I tried to push them out as much as I could, but then A was on the backside a lot with her hands, Carly a lot with her hands. And so I think it was a full team effort, as it was on Arike too. So I think testament to the whole team for just making it really hard for them.
And then, last one for me. What do you think was the biggest turnaround in that third quarter? Eric was saying he was pretty hot at halftime, but what changed for you guys?
Just not complaining about the fouls and boxing out. I think we let them get 7-0 boards in the first quarter, I believe. Second quarter we did a little bit better, and then I think third we gave up none. So it's just a difference of competing harder to not let them get rebounds and gang rebounding.
Direct this one at Steph, but Emily, feel free to chime in. 14 3-pointers tonight, and they go in 7 different players. That's incredible balance, what you kind of want in offense too. But what can you say about this team, how it's kind of coming together like this? I know the basic level is that you guys are hitting shots, but also beyond that, where do you see the team's game kind of evolving from that arc?
Just making the right reads. I think obviously we're making open shots, but we're making the right reads to get those open shots. I think you can see the difference in terms of when we get an open shot, we have been making it. When we get a contested shot, we miss it. We don't have the arikes, for example, who have contested 3-point over 2 people, and she makes it. So we've just been moving the ball really, really well, and our chemistry has been building up until now, even with people in and out. Emily has done an amazing job stepping up, so we just got to continue that chemistry and keep making shots.
And Emily,
She said it great. Oh, my bad.
for you and your confidence that you have, where is it now compared to where it was in maybe some other games earlier this season, and how you've just been able to produce these two?
Yeah, I mean, after you play a solid game, it definitely gets a little better. So yes, it's better now. But I will say, the past 3 weeks of practices has really where my confidence has just gotten better. I think I've been practicing harder, practicing better, and it's just been kind of grooving better in the small workouts, etc. like that. So I think that's really where it came from. So the past month in general, it's been solid, and I'm hoping to keep it there.
Thank you.
One real quick, you mentioned the making better reads. Is that just time together, or
Yeah.
what's allowing you guys to make better reads?
I think it's just time together. I think knowing what our teammate's going to do. I know A and I have been working on our reversals and just making sure she's open, me not dribbling at her too fast, to just swing the ball faster. So I think it's just time that we've gotten to play together and starting to learn each other a little bit more.
All right, let's go to Zoom. Willie?
Thank you. Hey, good to see you. It's been a while since you and I talked, but we had an extensive conversation about mental health during the Athletes Unlimited season, and you had said that, being there, especially around a lot of OG veterans, it really helped. And you had somewhat of a breakout season. You became somewhat of a sort of a roster favorite, for the captains. How did that help you, and how much do you sort of apply and think about March when applying your craft nowadays with what you're doing with Washington, and especially with the way the team started, and sort of just staying grounded and level-headed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part about that was I got a chance to play against a bunch of great WNBA players before playing in the WNBA. So a familiarity there that I'm now playing against the same girls, and I'm a little more comfortable playing against them, etc. But yeah, I think that coming to Washington has really been a good support system for me. I think we're all really positive. We've clearly went through a series of losses, and I can't really say a time where anyone's just kind of got on somebody else. And every time we had a game the next day, we fought just as hard like we won the game before. So, I mean, I think I'm surrounded by great players, but great leaders, and it's been really good for my mental health and for my confidence, and I'm hoping everyone else feels the same.
Great.